Hi, I'm Karen. It's great to have you here. And running a small business is like a wild ride, right? So one month you're rolling in sales and you're feeling really unstoppable. And the next you're like counting your coins and your cash, possibly putting off paying that supplier, maybe thinking about how to cut down your staffing costs. And you're wondering if you need to dip into your personal savings once again. That's if you've got any savings left, actually. Does this sound familiar? Well, if you're living in this stressful loop of feast and famine, you're not alone. And there are lots of small business owners out there living in this feast and famine cycle. And most small business owners start with their beautiful idea of this business because they're great at what they do, not because they're experts in money management. But the good news is you can absolutely break this cycle and build a business that pays you consistently without losing your mind in the process. Great, hey? So I'm Karen G. Adams, founder of Financial Management 101, and I help small business owners, tradies, and franchisees and individuals manage their money smarter and less stressful. So what I want to do is I want to dive in today's episode what looks like a roller coaster, and more importantly, how you can hop off this for good when it comes to running your business. So what is the feast and famine cycle anyway? Well, it's the classic small business trap where you're in that feast mode where your business is delivering the services, you're taking on all new clients, and you're hustling really hard. And you're making good money, so it feels really great. But because you're so busy working the business, you're not working on it. And marketing falls off because you don't have the time and you don't follow up on leads and you're not planning ahead. Then suddenly, bam, the whole thing dries up, work dries up, the cash stops flowing, and the panic sets in. So you have to hustle hard again to find more clients. And of course, the cycle then repeats. It's really exhausting and it's stressful and it's not sustainable at all. So why does this happen and why it's not your fault is because no one tells you when you start your own business that cash flow is everything. Cash flow is king. But too many small business owners don't have a plan for their money. They treat their business account like a personal piggy bank, or they're too busy wearing, many hats to track their expenses properly. So without the systems and the buffers and the strategies in place, you're actually flying blind, which is not good. And that's a dangerous way to run a business, no matter how good you are at what you do. So what can you do to break the cycle? There are 7 steps that I want to share with you today on how you can be consistent, confident, and show up in your business finances. So the first thing is get clear on your numbers. Let's start with a little tough love. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. This means knowing how much it really costs you to run your business every month. What's your average monthly revenue, meaning what you bring in? And what's your break-even point? Do you even know how much you need to earn to pay yourself properly? Because what's the point in going to business if you're not paying yourself? This doesn't have to be complicated. You can use a simple spreadsheet or accounting tools that are available like Xero or QuickBooks or even a Google Sheet. Do something to track everything that comes in and goes out. Even your bank account these days actually shows what's coming in, what's coming out. Knowledge is power when it comes to this. And in business, it's the difference between survival and success, between broke and having a successful business. Number 2, you've got to separate your personal and business finances. This is absolute paramount. And if you're still using one bank account for everything, then we need to have a really big talk. Mixing your personal and business money is a recipe for confusion, stress, and at tax time, absolute nightmare. And when you set up a separate business account and commit to paying yourself a business wage regularly, even if it's a small amount, this not only helps you manage your cash flow better, but it helps you feel like you are now the CEO of your business. The third thing is to create a money flow system that works. What do I mean by that? Well, have you ever heard of Profit First? It's a simple but powerful cash flow management system where you allocate money into separate buckets. And every time income comes in, you basically have an income account where all the revenue lands, a profit account where you set aside 5 to 10% for long-term savings and growth. You have an owner's pay account for all your regular wage goes into, and you have a tax account so you avoid any nasty surprises at best time, and an expense account to cover those day-to-day costs. Now, the goal here is to become intentional with every dollar that comes in. And this way, you're not wondering where all your money's going at the end of the month. You can clearly see where it's going and where to allocate it to. Now, I want you to look at planning for those lows while you're in that high moment, okay? Earning good income. So you're in the feast mode and it's easy to feel like the good times will last forever. We all feel like that. but they don't, right? And that's okay if you're prepared. So you need to start building a business buffer fund, at least 1 month's worth of operating expenses. So when things slow down, you've got some breathing room and you don't have to make decisions from a place of fear and despair. My pro tip is that you automate transfers to your buffer fund every client payment, a small percentage, out of sight and out of spend. And that just gives you that protection, pretty much like when we talk about an emergency fund for individuals, putting that aside. Then you want to set aside a regular money date with yourself or your bookkeeper. So you wouldn't ignore your partner for months, would you, and expect the relationship to thrive? Right. Well, same goes for your business finances. You need to block out between 30 minutes or even 60 minutes every week to check your cash flow. Make sure you send your invoices, because if you're not sending invoices, you're not getting the cash flow in. Pay your bills on time. Review your numbers and track your goals. Track where you have set your business goals to go to make sure you're on track. You need to make it fun. So grab a coffee, put on your favorite playlist if you need to. Do what you need to do to get more connected with your money and feel more empowered in your business income. So 6-1 is you need to ditch the hustle culture and create some recurring revenue. What do I mean by that? Well, the feast and famine often comes with project-based or one-off work. And if every sale requires a new client or fresh hustle, your income will always be up and down, right? So we want to keep it even flow, not this up and down cycle. So what can you do to create consistent income? Well, you can offer monthly retainers or packages. You can launch a membership or program, depending on what your business is. You can create some digital products. You can automate something that sells in the background. You can look for ways to create a retainer with some clients. Whatever it is, just do one recurring income stream that will bring in some serious stability, and it takes pressure off. Number 7, get help sooner, not later. You don't have to do this alone. If you're consistently stuck in financial stress, it's time to call in some support. And a good financial coach like me can help you set up systems, build a plan, and create a business that pays you without the burnout, most importantly. And sometimes the biggest breakthrough is admitting that you need help and taking the first step towards real change. Here's a bonus tip for my Aussie small business owners. Since I'm based in Australia, and many of my clients are too, here are a few extra little pointers. Stay on top of your BAS and GST obligations. Set aside a percentage of your income as soon as you get paid. The BAS, remember, is not your money, it's the tax office money, and they get really nasty when they don't get paid. So ensure that goes into a separate account straight away. Consider using some accounting software like Xero to automate your BAS and income tracking. It's really simple and it does a lot of the business budgeting for you too. So there's a whole lot of tools and mechanisms in programs like Xero to make your business automation clearer. And don't forget, look for government grants or support, because there may be some funding or some mentoring programs that are available to you. What are my final thoughts? Well, you deserve consistent cash, not constant stress. And here's the truth. You didn't start your business to feel financially anxious all the time, sleepless nights. You started it for freedom, flexibility, and fun and fulfillment. And the feast and famine cycle might feel normal, but it's not healthy and it's not sustainable. So with the right system, support, and mindset, you can step into a whole new way of doing business, one where you feel in control, empowered, and finally able to enjoy the fruits of your hard work. So if you're ready to ditch this feast and famine for good, and if you love this video, then share it with someone who might get some benefit out of it. Don't forget to subscribe and like so that you can stay up to date with any new tips. And if you want a little bit more, then book a call. There's a link in the information below. So we can talk about how I can help you build your financial muscle and take control of your cash flow and finally get paid like the boss you are. Let's help you stop surviving and start living. See you soon.